down this time of the year. I think that says 27.5 feet.
See, that's the kind of beach we need to find that can walk right up on, man.
And we're bucking a little bit of a headwind going back this way. We lost a half a mile an hour. That's actually Becky and my daughter Alex singing this song. The song we wrote about maybe 2 years ago.
Sit on the bow for a while and prop my feet up there on the porch rail and look at the fall colors. This really is a gorgeous time of year in this part of the country. It's only a few days later than what it was the last time we came out, but the leaves have turned quite a bit more than they had the last time we came out. Now, there's a lot of really cool lake communities on Norris Lake, and they all have like their own private boat docks and stuff. Well, not all of them, but a lot of them do. And a lot of the individual homeowners have built floating covered docks, and some of them even have lifts in them. They have staired walkways that go down to the lake from their houses. I mean, just beautiful big houses and really elaborate setups for their boats. Even though the water level is down, like I said, this is just a beautiful time to be out on the lake. If you've got a houseboat or a pontoon boat, the lake is not crowded. It's a little chilly for swimming, but we did see a water skier out here yesterday, and he was out here until late last night skiing and almost until dark. He stayed out until dusk. So I guess if you don't mind being a little chilly, you can still even enjoy the water. But there's almost no boats, and it is absolutely gorgeous. There's lots of beaches that you can go up on this time of year too. In the summertime, it's hard to dock right on the side of the lake here with a pontoon boat or something because the trees are right there and the woods are right there, and you don't really have anywhere to get off of the boat at. I mean, in this part of the country, there's a lot of poison oak, there's a lot of snakes, there's a lot of critters, and you don't necessarily want to be right against the woods when you dock. here comes somebody out of one of the private boat docks for this neighborhood here. I don't have any idea what community we're in front of. But that is a private boat dock for the community, the houses that you can see up in the woods here in front of us. Is Rock Harbor. It's a fairly new lake subdivision. But they did build some nice covered slips to go with the subdivision. And they have it very well posted. They let you know you are not allowed to dock there. It's just for the residents of that subdivision. It looks like they have built their dock out of galvanized culverts that have caps welded on the ends of them. And I've seen some homemade pontoon boats on the internet that are made out of those galvanized culverts. The only problem I can see with them is they're not slick. They've got all those ridges in them, and it might cause a little bit of drag. But at the speeds we're going, even the barrels that we added, the blunt end really isn't causing that much drag, not enough that it's bothering us. We've seen a lot of geese this time of year too, where they're headed south for the winter. So that's another kind of special treat that you get on the lake this time of year that you don't normally get when you come out in the summertime. There's a couple really big houses, and you can see how that kind of tan or cream colors on there has the big steps that go all the way from the house down to the dock. And they've got a dock there, but their dock isn't tethered. And it looks like it only floats when the water level's all the way up. So they've taken their boat out of the water for the summer. Or, I'm sorry, they've taken their boat out of the water for the winter. And they've got several decks in their steps as they go down, wide landing. It looks like they've even got a covered deck underneath one of the landings there. Maybe where they can cook out and stuff. But people get really elaborate with these steps going down to the lake. These people over here have a small covered slip with a picnic table on it, and they've got theirs tethered. So when the water level goes down, their dock still floats, and they can still use their boat and stuff. And like I said, if you've got a boat and you're not coming out on the water this time of year, you're really missing something because it is gorgeous. And they've also got a deck up on their steps up there and some lounge chairs and stuff. These people here have a couple of boats. Looks like they've got a houseboat, maybe a little bigger than the boat we're on, and then they've got a pontoon boat too. slip, but they've also added lifts in them, so in the wintertime they can lift their boat up out of the water. Looks like maybe there's 2 or 3 of them here in a row. And they're still working on their steps going down to the water. See, they've got their boat lifted up out of the water there. These people here have a lift. They've got theirs lifted up out of the water. Wow, what a cabin. That thing is huge. They've got a jet ski lifted out of the water here and 2 boats lifted out of the water. And that's a really nice dock. And it's just a private, looks like maybe a couple of houses might share that one together. But this whole cove is full of them. Now, you can't go on these people's private docks, but because the TVA property is 100 feet, you can see all these houses are sitting way back up off the lake. That's because the TVA owns from the high water mark 100 feet back from the edge of the lake. So if we wanted to, we could go right up in these people's yards and camp on the beach in front of their house. Now, that wouldn't be very nice of us, but the law says we can do it because they don't actually own the land that stretches from the high water mark 100 feet up in front of their house. So like that really nice beach over there, we could go over there and camp tonight and build us a campfire right beside where these people all have their covered docks. And they couldn't say anything and couldn't even ask us to move. I said we would not do that, but some people do. I sold real estate years ago, and somewhere right around in here, I had a listing, and it was up in a cove, kind of like this, maybe even a little more secluded up in a cove than this. And the man who owned the house that I was selling, he said people in houseboats and pontoon boats come up and camp right in front of his house all the time. And his property was gorgeous. He had it all cleared out like this guy over here does. And it was like park cleared, you know, it had grass and trees. Really, really nice. And people just came up and used it. And I said we could use that tonight if we wanted to, but you know, I don't really want to camp right in somebody's yard. Their house is right there. We didn't go too far from where we launched the boat. We went across the lake and down a little ways, and we found us a cove. See the main channel of the lake out there with a nice soft sandy beach, and we tied off to a couple of trees because we learned last year that anchoring a pontoon boat just does not work. And with the coroplast on it, the breeze is blowing in from the main part of the lake. You can probably see the ripples on the lake, and it's tending to blow the back of the boat up toward the end of the cove we're in. So I really had to tie that line off tight so that we don't twist around and end up on the bank in the middle of the night. But I think this is where we're going to stay at for tonight. Make sure that our so we can make sure that our barrels are all watertight, and you know, we're not losing any buoyancy through the night. I did mark the pontoons with a couple pieces of silver tape while we were on the dock, so we'd know if we started to take on water somewhere. So now to go get something to eat.